Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marvel Plus podcast, the show where we talk the Marvel shows on Disney Plus and how they connect to the MCU. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. You can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Join the chat, join on the theory and conversation if you're a subscriber over there. We'd love to have you. If you can't catch it live, that's a-okay. You can go over to YouTube and SoundCloud the very next day where it's dropped at 12 noon Eastern. Check it out over there. Give it a watch, give it a listen. It'd be greatly appreciate. Before we get in today's episode, I want to do some housekeeping stuff with you guys. First, I know I just plugged YouTube and SoundCloud. This episode's probably going to be the last one on SoundCloud or MP3 format for at least a little while until maybe I figure something out. But at the moment, I just can't maintain doing this as an audio podcast as well. Maybe I'll figure something out down the road. But after this episode, it's going to be a YouTube exclusive podcast. So, just a heads up, if you listen to MP3s, you can go over to the YouTube channel, search Enigma9011, and you can watch it over there. But I do appreciate you guys giving a listen over there, and hopefully I can figure out how to get back to those platforms soon. So yeah, sad news there. Good news. Next week, you guys are getting a bonus episode. Not going to record this one live like I do the episodes, but next week, or this coming Friday, rather, Shang-Chi is getting released. Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. So I'm going to be watching that next weekend, and I'll be recording my thoughts, impressions on that film, similar to Black Widow, and uploading for that for you guys. Also on Monday, probably around 3 p.m. that will release. So, yay, bonus episode for you guys over there. And then last but not least, I do another podcast, if you guys didn't know, selfish plug. It's called the Wait What We're Talking About podcast. And last night's episode, which we recorded, I happened to talk about the new Spider-Man trailer, No Way Home. I talked about the trailer and my thoughts about that, but I also talked a lot about the multiverse and what's going on with the MCU and how it's getting a little confusing and how I think maybe everything kind of attaches together or tried to make some sense of it. So if you guys are interested in that, like I said, you can go to YouTube or SoundCloud and you can check out the Wait What podcast. That's going to be episode 99 you're looking for, and that's going to be the first topic. So appreciate that little cross promotion. So we're moving on to today's episode of the podcast where we're talking about the What If series, and we're talking episode 3, What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes? Yikes. Big implications here. What if the Avengers weren't even a thing? So, similar to last week's episode, I thought this was a really good one. Pacing seemed a little quick, like a shorter story, but it was cool because it was new. Not like that any of them haven't been new, but once again, the Agent Carter stuff was pretty much following the story beats of Captain America, the First Avenger. So it was a little, on it, while the other ones were more unique. So, really like this episode. So we're going to have this episode open up with Nick Fury and Black Widow talking about the Avengers Initiative, going to talk to Tony Stark, Iron Man, during Iron Man 2 when he's kind of in his depression at the donut shop. Obviously, from that film, we know he's dealing with the arc reactor in his chest, not really complying well with his body or working well with his body, and he's suffering some side effects from that. In the film, we saw, S.H.I.E.L.D. helps him out, suppresses those symptoms that he's having, and he's able to bounce back and do what he needs to do. We see that play out once again here, but this time when Natasha applies the lithium dioxide to kind of subdue the symptoms, Iron Man seemingly gets poisoned and dies. Yikes. So yeah, Iron Man's dead. Swell. So we have that opening. Natasha's going to get in trouble for this, allegedly, by S.H.I.E.L.D. and taken into custody. Nick believes her that it wasn't her and decides to break her out and have her, help him in figuring out what the hell happened. Also, we're going to learn that this week's a big week. There's going to be 3 events that take place all at the same time in the MCU kind of canon order. The Iron Man 2 stuff, Thor, and Hulk. All the events from their respective movies, Thor 1, Iron Man 2, and Hulk. I mixed those up orders-wise. But they are all taking place during this same week. So we're going to see the events of some of the events of these films kind of play out. So we're going to cut to Thor's hammer. And we see, obviously, Thor's trying to retrieve it from the base. Coulson's there, reporting into Nick Fury. Obviously, this is an anomaly that's happening. Whatever. So like I mentioned, Widow's being blamed for the death by S.H.I.E.L.D. Fury knows it's not her, but S.H.I.E.L.D. has its protocols. He decides to help her out, gives her the canister that was meant to apply the lithium dioxide to Iron Man to help him out. And she's essentially just going to go try and figure out what's happened. She whoops some ass in the S.H.I.E.L.D. transport that's carrying her, beats up a lot of guards that are in there. We see Rumlow in the passenger seat, so a little fun side appearance from him. But yeah, she escapes, gets out. We're going to return back to the Thor stuff. Thor's taking out guards like we expect him to from the movie. And everybody seems really fascinated with how gorgeous he looks, which I thought was kind of funny. We got a little bit more humor with this storyline. What's a little bit odd is we kind of continue to see how dark this story is. But everybody's fascinated with how Thor looks. Hawkeye's up in the cage, doing his normal thing, scouting, watching Thor. Nick says, hold on, let's see what he does. And Hawkeye's got the shot, claims it'll be a one-shot kill. If he needs to take him out. Like I said, Fury says wait. And we see a big lightning strike go on in the background. And Hawkeye seemingly shoots the arrow, nails Thor right in the chest, and immediately kills him. So now Thor's dead too. Whoa. Nick's not really happy. Hawkeye claims he didn't take the shot, which is odd, knowing him being the sharpshooter. We're going to cut to Clint being in custody now. And Clint's having a really hard time. Like, I didn't shoot. I swear. Like, I don't mess these things up. He's taking it hard. And as soon as Fury comes in to kind of like question him, be like, what happened? What happened in there? Clint dies in custody. People are dropping like flies left and right. What the hell is going on? Everybody's going. So, okay. So, death toll right now is Iron Man, Thor, and Hawkeye. All out of here. Yikes. Moving on to Wednesday of that week. Black Widow, like I said, she escaped. She has gone to Dr. Betty Ross to kind of get some help and assistance in figuring out what happened with the capsule, the injection that went wrong. She went to her for a few reasons. Betty thinks it's because of the Hulk. Not entirely. It's more because she knows how to stay undercover with these things and hide from S.H.I.E.L.D. because of, once again, the Hulk hiding him. So she's trying to stay off the radar because obviously S.H.I.E.L.D's still technically hunting her down. So Betty helps out reluctantly. And we learn that the antidote actually never left the needle, left the injector. It was somehow blocked, or like something was in its place in front of it to enter the bloodstream, whatever we want to call it. Meanwhile, Black Widow is going to get a phone call after learning this news. Learns that Clint is dead. They're very close. They've gone on numerous missions together, so not taking that news very well. And it seems like this killer, or whatever is killing them, is going after the Avengers candidates. So obviously we have the Avengers initiative, Nick's plan to kind of protect the world from bigger threats. Seems whoever is killing them obviously is targeting those candidates. So we kind of know potentially Black Widow is next, maybe Hulk, whoever. Bruce and Widow are on the list. Bruce Banner and Widow are on the list. So she needs to get out of there. Need to leave the university. We're going to swap back over to Coulson now. He's returning back to base. And we see the Rainbow Bridge shoot down from space. And, oh, look who it is. It's Loki and the Asgardian army. Fuck. Along with the army, we see Lady Sif in the Warriors 3, which is kind of cool, a little cameo. And meanwhile, Loki's making this grand entrance, this whole little speech to Coulson and Fury about, like, I'm Loki from Asgard, kneel before me, blah, blah, blah. And Fury's getting a phone call the whole time. And Loki finally just says, do you want to answer that? Or, like, silence it, turn it the fuck off. So Fury answers. We're going back to Hulk, and we're kind of setting up the scene from the Incredible Hulk, where we see the whole campus fight. It's news from Widow about the whole injector, what happened there. Once again, we're doing a lot of cut back and forth, so I apologize if this isn't super streamlined. So Loki's going back. He's claiming that he's going to avenge Thor and what happened to him. Interesting. So while Loki is claiming this is what he's here for, guess what? We're going to cut back to the campus once again. Banner is with Widow. They're trying to leave, trying to get out of there to find a safety. Banner, as they're moving, gets shot in the shoulder by the army, or what we think is the army. Thunderbolt Ross and some other army officials have shown up, trying to keep him pinned down. Someone shoots him in the shoulder. Thunderbolt Ross is like, what the fuck? I told you to hold your fire. Hulk's out, because obviously he's angry. He just got shot in the freaking shoulder. We're going to cut back to Loki, and now he has decided to attack Fury and the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that have shown up. He has the big ice box that we saw in Thor 1 that has the power of the Frost Giant. So he's pretty much freezing everything in sight, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, cars, etc. Hulk is now freaking out, going, hulked out mode. He's taking care of all the troops, and Thunderbolt Ross, no big surprise there, plays out the scene similar to the Incredible Hulk film. Betty tries to stop him. Widow says no, not safe, etc. While Hulk is doing this, he takes care of business. He kind of stops and all of a sudden starts expanding and blowing up like a balloon and explodes to death. Jesus Christ. So Hulk's dead now. We're going to cut back once again to Loki and all those shenanigans. Sif is finally going to step in and say, whoa, stop it now. Stops the attack with the icebox. And Fury's trying to make peace. Tries to work out with Loki so they can both find, or he can find the killer and provide it to Loki to avenge Thor, quote unquote. Loki says, okay, you have until next sunrise. So essentially like 12 hours to find this killer and provide them to Loki. Swell. Now we got the time pressure. So recap. Iron Man dead. Thor dead. Hawkeye dead. Now Hulk dead. Sweet. We're going to cut back to the campus, or what I assume is the campus. Black Widow's in the library trying to figure out, what to do now. Decides that she needs access to S.H.I.E.L.D.'s archive. She doesn't have access because obviously she's blacklisted from killing Iron Man, quote unquote. She has Coulson on the phone. Coulson doesn't want to give up his password. Finally convinces him. It's the Captain America password. Surprise, surprise. So she's in there. She's looking through the Avengers files. I noticed two interesting files in there. We had Wasp, or Hope Van Dyne. I think it was Hope. Maybe it was Janet. Wasp was in there. And then we also had Alexander Pierce, which we know obviously he's going to be problematic down the road, but not at this moment. They're included in the files for the Avengers Initiative. All right. Apparently, also, as she's accessing these files, a woman who's died has accessed the files 2 hours ago. Big red flag. This woman's dead. How is she accessing these files? Widow turns around. She notices someone is coming up onto her, and she is fighting essentially an invisible enemy. While she's doing this, she does decide to reach out to Fury, call him while she has the chance, before something does go wrong, and all she says in the message to Fury is, "It's hope. It's all about hope." Interesting. So Fury hears this message. Essentially, we assume Widow is now dead. And Coulson claims to Fury after hearing the message, "Sir, you're the last target on this Avengers file." because the rest have been taken care of. Fury says he's not the last, and he goes to his car and grabs the beeper or the pager, I think that's what it is, for Captain Marvel that we'll see way down the road in the MCU. He's tempted to click it, to summon her, to bring her back to Earth and let her know shit's, hit the fan. But he figures out the clue. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of pieced it together now too. And I like when shows do that, where like they give little hints and you're like, oh God, it's this. Figures out the clue, throws it back, does not activate the pager for Marvel. So we have the revelation of what's going on. It's all about Hope. We're going to cut to Thursday. Well, actually, before that, Fury's going to report into Loki and figure out and communicate his information to him. We're going to cut to Thursday. We're over in San Francisco, and Fury is at Hope Van Dyne's grave. So Hope, who we've seen in Ant-Man and the Wasp, so current Wasp, is dead. And we get the big reveal for who the killer is. It was Ant-Man the whole time. It was Hank Pym. Now, he's not Ant-Man. He is using, obviously, the Ant-Man technology with the size changing. But we get the little Easter egg and fun cameo that he's Yellow Jacket. This gets a little confusing because Yellow Jacket in the current MCU was used in the Ant-Man film, but it was a different guy using the technology here. Yellow Jacket from the comics was Hank Pym, I'm pretty sure, who had gone kind of AWOL and kind of got more rugged and was doing his own thing. So they were kind of playing off that persona he had used in the comics as well in this series. So yes, this is the daughter that died. So in canon MCU, the films, she did not die. She was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. In this What If, she was an agent following in her mom's footsteps, which we know the mom had seemingly died when she went subatomic, but we know she didn't die. She was following in the steps of her mom being a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and she did die. The daughter, Hope, did die on some mission in this What If canon. In the movie canon, I don't think she was ever a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, to be honest, and obviously we know she lives because she goes on to be Wasp in Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. So that's the little twist on the story here. Like we saw in episode 1, it was the twist of Peggy got the serum. In episode 2, it was the twist of if T'Challa got taken instead of Peter Quill, Star-Lord. The twist here is what if Hope was killed during this mission. Then we see Hank Pym. He's already angry at S.H.I.E.L.D., as we have seen in canon MCU. So this is just like the thing that pushed him over the edge to say, fuck S.H.I.E.L.D., and he goes after the Avengers and the Avengers Initiative, trying to stop that before anything does happen. So yes, Pym has arrived at the grave that Fury is visiting. He is in his Yellow Jacket persona. Like I mentioned, his wife and daughter both died from S.H.I.E.L.D. duties, being part of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we then get a montage revealing how Yellow Jacket has killed the Avengers. He entered the bloodstream for Iron Man and seemingly took him out there. For Thor, he was the one that hit Hawkeye's hand to cause him to shoot the arrow. Hawkeye, I don't remember 100% what he did to him. Hulk was another, entered the bloodstream, but then used the super-sized technology to expand his heart and blow him up. And then I think they showed him just winning the fight against Black Widow from earlier, fighting in the library. So we kind of get that montage revealing exactly how it happened. So yes, Yellow Jacket's not happy, so he is going to go after Fury. He goes super small, dives at Fury. Somehow Fury has the ability to just go bah, and slap him out of midair. Impressive. Don't know how he did that. And Fury's kind of being a dick. Said he doesn't care about any of them dying or any of the events that have taken place with, Hope or Janet. And I was wondering if he was saying this just to get under his skin, to kind of get the mind games going or whatever. We'll get a little bit of a reveal for that of why that's the case. But yeah, then, fucking Fury's going super ninja, blocking all these attacks from Wasp, and I'm like, this is what? Why is this happening? And then he has a teleporter. Okay. Fight's not going really well for Loki. I just spoiled it right there. Not going well for Yellow Jacket. Turns out it's Loki the whole time. Loki has taken the form of Nick Fury and is playing those mind games using his abilities and powers against Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket's very confused because there's many duplicates of Fury around him. Finally reveals himself as Loki. I was questioning if Loki is an Avenger now. Is that how we're going to play it out? Real Loki will then arrive after Loki reveals himself, and, we'll go from there. So Yellow Jacket is then taken into custody, claims that Hope will not be forgotten, and they'll honor her. We got that. So Loki thanks him for that, taking care of the business. Fury asks, like, are you going to be leaving now? Do you want to stay? Because obviously he did help with the whole situation, so it kind of seems like he's trying to recruit Loki as an Avenger. Loki decides, you know what, I will stay, at least for a little bit. I kind of grown fond of this planet. And we get to Friday. Loki turns up at a UN building and essentially takes over the world and is now in charge. We see the graves for the Avengers, or at least caskets for him. Fury has somehow gotten away, all with Coulson. And he mentions, in our darkest hour, we'll find our heroes. He goes and discovers where Cap has been frozen, has found his iceberg, whatever you want to call it. So yes, we got Cap in the picture, and we get the reveal that Captain Marvel has returned to lend her assistance, and we'll get the episode to cut right there. So yeah, a lot to go on in this episode, with our heroes dying, with Loki taking over, with Yellow Jacket being bad, or Hank Pym rather being bad. A lot going on in this episode, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. Like I said, I like when stories kind of hint at certain things, or like you can have that aha moment later on of like discovery, even though, is it really anything big brain about it when they're right about to reveal it? Like, you get it the second before. You feel proud about it, but so yeah, I thought that did really well with the storytelling. Like I said, pacing was a little fast, but I feel like I keep saying that for these episodes, and I do apologize if I'm repeating myself. But it is a 30-minute episode. They kind of have a lot to cover, so they kind of got to go fast. With the ending of this episode, with Loki taking over the world and the formation of a mini Avengers, essentially, with Cap and Captain Marvel, I'm curious if this one's going to get a sequel. We talked about it with episode 2, how it kind of leaves it open for potentially Black Panther as Star-Lord to get a follow-up episode with, there was some cliffhanger event, I feel. I'm blanking. But there was an open, it was Quill being discovered by Ego. They did kind of leave it open-ended for a follow-up. So I wonder if this episode will eventually get a sequel. Once again, I don't know if it will be this season. I don't know their plan. I don't know how many episodes are coming out. But we have had confirmation that a season 2 is in the works. So maybe we'll get sequel episodes during season 2. And, maybe that's the theme of this What If series, is each episode 1 of season 1, season 2 is Agent Carter, Captain Carter's story. Season 2 is T'Challa's Star-Lord. Boom, boom. Episode 3 is this new run of Avengers. I think that would be cool to kind of see these storylines progress more. Hopefully that's not confusing for, the general audience, because I thought these would be kind of nice and tied up stories. But I'd be down for it. I mean, it's interesting. And then I think it also would benefit maybe from storytelling, because they don't necessarily have to rush to follow movie points. Episode 2 didn't really have to do that, but Episode 3, this one kind of did. We still had the story beats of Thor getting his hammer. We had the story beats of Iron Man 2 in the beginning. We had the story beats of Incredible Hulk with the campus. So they had to kind of hit those there, then, here and there. So maybe like this opens it up where they don't have to hit those points in the films. So we'll have to see. Obviously, only time will tell. But yeah, it was great. Got another episode coming this week. I wonder what they're going to tell there, because I didn't even know. I had no idea that this one was even a potential storyline. I think, at least from the intro, from what I've seen, we'll have a Thor-themed episode eventually, because there's a shot with him clean-shaven, and he seems younger. So we'll have that one. We have the zombies still showing up. I know that I keep bringing that one up. I don't know where that ties in, how that's going to play out. I'm trying to think if there's something else. We saw now Miss Marvel, so that could have been her shot here. Same with Hulk. That could have been there. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we go from here. I think it's only 6 episodes, but once again, that's a big question mark for me. I haven't really looked that information up. Maybe I should after this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you guys are enjoying the series more like I am now that we kind of got the ball rolling. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the show and the episodes in the comments down below, and love to chat with you guys about it. This has been another episode of the Marvel Plus podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. I appreciate you guys hanging out and watching or listening today. If you want to catch the podcast live, you can go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat, all the fun theories like Mrs. G did today. We'd love to have you. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. You can go over to YouTube the very next day, Monday at 12 noon Eastern. It's going to drop over there, so you can watch the video and hear all the crazy theories and stuff there. But yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out. I'm excited for episode 4. I'm excited for Shang-Chi to see how crazy that gets. I'm excited for Spider-Man in 3 months, 4 months, 3.5, whatever. But we got a while for that. We got a lot of fun programming coming up. So excited to chat with you guys about that and what you guys think. But appreciate you guys hanging out today, watching this episode. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.